Hi there, I'm Jules. I'm one of the co-founders at the Body Retreat, and today in my book review I am going to be reviewing How Not to Die by Micheal MD. I was given this book actually by a retreat returner, themselves a vegan, and they had read this book and it had inspired them to take meat and dairy out of their diet. And they were very keen to know what I thought of the book. So they bought this book for me as a leaving present, which I thought was very kind, and asked me to do a review on it. Now, at first, I must confess, I was a little dubious about a book that is promoting veganism. First of all, full disclosure, I am a meat eater, but both personally and professionally, I do believe that we need to eat less meat and more plants. I have read other books, for example, the China Study, which is really promoting a vegan diet. And I found more questions than answers in the book for myself. And I really didn't take to the tone of the book. However, How Not to Die has actually surprised me. First of all, despite the fact that Dr. Grieger is himself vegan/vegetarian and is promoting that a diet that is high in animal products is linked to a lot of illness that we have within the Western world. And there is no doubt about that. It's not a preachy book. So the first thing I was really pleased about was the style and the tone. Very upfront in saying this is where he was coming from, wanted to explain the science, but it was not at all preachy. So big tick in the box for that. The second thing that I wanted to say about this book in particular is that it is written by an American MD, and everything in it is based on what they call the SAD diet, or the standard American diet. Reading through the pages of this book, even with my level of knowledge about eating practice around the world, I was shocked at how bad the standard American diet actually is, and how little vegetable, how little fruit, a whole fruit, how little macro and micronutrients that the standard American diet is providing. So I can understand how this book has come about. What I would say is that within Europe and within the UK, our standard diet would tend to be better than the standard American diet. So we are starting off from a different playing field. I would say that straight off the bat. However, we're not too far behind, let's be honest. So that was the first thing to note. Now, the book is all about how not to die. How not to die from heart disease, lung disease, digestive cancer, diabetes, liver disease, kidney disease, suicidal depression, Parkinson's, the list goes on. There are 15 how not to dies. And in reading through that, you start to get this sense of there is a pattern that is building up, that our current Western diet of highly processed foods, of an over-reliance on poor quality animal protein, is negatively impacting our health and well-being. And that is a fact. And those facts are in this book. A lot of the facts are presented, and I use the term around poor quality animal protein. A lot of the facts in this book talk about the industrial farming, where there is a wide use of things like antibiotics, where there is prevalent use of injecting chickens with salty, sugary water to increase the weight of the chicken and make it taste better and make it cook easier. They don't have to tell you that that's in the chicken, by the way. Side note. It is an eye-opener if you're not aware of the impact of what they call big farming on your everyday, relatively poor quality animal produce. Then this book is really going to open your eyes to that. And if anything, that is where this book gets a big yes from me, in that I want to encourage more people to eat less meat, less animal products, and more vegetables. And the animal produce that they do choose to eat, I'd like you to make that choice from a better source. So huge tick in the box from that. There was quite a bit of repetition after a while in terms of talking about the impact that meat and dairy have on various systems in the body, how our body metabolizes them, how we become nutrient deficient because we are basing things on the standard American diet. So again, one of the things for me was there was a lot of the use of the term may or could. That eating this food may increase your risk of breast cancer. Eating these foods could improve your risk of pancreatic cancer. And I think that's an important thing to say. Nothing in this book is saying categorically, if you eat this, this happens. Because of course, biology is dynamic. One of us can eat burgers every day, smoke cigarettes every day, drink beer every day, and live to be 100. Someone else can live on lettuce leaves and plain water and toffee burgers, and unfortunately die of a disease at an early age, because biology isn't static and each of us is an individual. And I think that's a really important point. We must all make our own choices and find our own way through. And I think that this book, How Not to Die, is a very useful book to help you to find your way through. I wouldn't take it as a Bible. I wouldn't take it as I will cut out everything that Dr. Grieser says to not eat. I would understand some of the science that he's saying, and it's set out very well. I 100% agree with what he calls Dr. Grieser's daily dozen. I was delighted to read this. Daily dozen foods to include in your daily diet to support your body, your health, your well-being. Everything from berries, beans, cruciferous vegetables, flax seeds, nuts, herbs, whole grains, including number 12, movement. Moving your body is an important part of an overall nutrition package. So, How Not to Die, definitely worth a read. If you're in Europe or the UK, please note that this is based on the standard American diet, and that our practices are different, not far behind, but they are different. And if anything that was to come from this book, it has made me even more determined to eat less meat, to eat better quality meat, and to eat more plants, because I don't want to die. So How Not to Die by Dr. Micheal Grieser, definitely worth a read.